Okay, what I want to demonstrate today is Light the World's microgrid SCADA master. Light the World's microgrid is the microcontroller on the microgrid controller is based on their Arduino microcontroller. We've written all of the software and the algorithms for optimization of Light the World's microgrid on this platform. What we realized when we were testing this, that we needed a better view of what was happening on the microgrid, and much more easier user-friendly access to control and information on the microgrid. We originally wrote a serial monitor control this, a low-cost serial monitor where you go in and pull each of the status and control and analogs. But what we found there was that it gave you information at one point at a time. So we needed a much broader, more user-friendly GUI for the microgrid. So we developed what we call Light the World Microgrid SCADA Master, and that's what you see in front of you right now. So if we start up at the top left here, this shows the power being produced by either the PV array or grid power. The PV array, which is located on the top of the houses of residents in these countries that we're providing the information to, generates power for the microgrid. These microgrids are interconnected on a resident-to-resident basis, so we can supply power to the grid or from the grid, and you can see the EX here right now that tells us that we're now exporting to the grid. If this changes to IM, then we're importing. So we have an option here. So if there's excess PV array power, which we have right now, it will then export the Arduino algorithm. The microgrid algorithm will then decide that the excess power so it can export, and that's what we can see here. The system also monitors 6 analogs on the microgrid: the PV array voltage, the PV array current, the grid voltage, the grid current. The microgrid, each microgrid contains a battery storage for energy storage. So each residence has power in the evening when the sun goes down, a critical moment for both lighting. Light the World also supplies a very high efficient LED light, so that allows the residents to work and study past the sunset. It's critical to monitor the battery temperatures, not to destroy the battery, so we're monitoring the battery temperature as well. So just to kind of repeat, we're monitoring the power output from the PV array. We're monitoring import and export power from the microgrid. And we're also accumulating microgrid energy production from the PV array, from the grid, and grid import and grid export. So we're accumulating the total energy for the current hour, current day, previous hour, and previous day. So it kind of gives you kind of a running total of power production from the PV array and both import and export power from the grid for both current hour and current day, previous hour, previous day. So it kind of gives you a running total and see how you're doing in power production. If you move up to the middle here where you see my cursor, we monitor the status of a number of PC controllable devices. The PV array DC-DC controller, the battery DC to DC controller, the grid to 48 volt bus DC to DC controller, the 48 volt bus to grid DC to DC controller, the battery to 48 volt bus DC to DC controller. We also have an additional controller for the 48 volt to 24 volt bus for local refrigerators and 24 volt appliances that you find in third world countries. And then there's a 48 volt current limited output as well. And then we have an extra one that we're currently haven't decided how to use here called TBD. Now, I can go in and control any of these devices here by just a click of the button. So if I go down, I'll just use this TBD here. So just watch the status change here. So I click high here, then you'll see it change over here. So I can control all of the devices on and off by simply clicking on the control button, and you can see that the status changes as I control these devices. So total control over the entire microgrid from just a click of the button. I can synchronize. You see the current time here. I'm on Mountain Standard Time, but I can set the time on the microgrid and synchronize all microgrid controllers by simply clicking set microgrid time, and that sets the microgrid to synchronize with the PC that the microgrid SCADA master is running on. Down here is basically just kind of a status of where the DC to DC controllers are. The output from the DC to DC controllers is controlled by uses a pulse width modulation technique, and the output is controlled by varying the duty cycle of the pulse width modulators on those DC to DC controllers. And the pulse width modulation also has a set frequency, and right now we're running at 31 kilohertz on those DC to DC controllers. Output is controlled by the pulse width modulation duty cycle here. So not only can I monitor all those, I can change them from here. So I want to do the microgrid controller algorithm automatically controls those duty cycles, but I can manually control those as well. So let's say I wanted to reduce the output of this PV or increase the output. I can up this to say 60%, and it's just basically a drop-down menu. You can see it's now changed to 60% duty cycle. If I wanted to reduce this one by say to 90%, I can just move down here, click on 90%, and you can see the duty cycle changes to 90%. So as you can see, a very full-featured SCADA master for the Light the World microgrid controller, monitoring the status of all analogs and digital inputs, full control on all digital outputs, monitoring of power and energy production, both import and export. So as you can see, it's a very full-featured microgrid master, and really gives us the user a lot more information on and a very user-friendly manner of what's happening on the microgrid. So I'll just wrap it up there, and if you have any questions, please contact Light the World, or if you can think of any features you'd like to see, again, just contact Light the World. You can go to our website and just get the information, let us know, and we'll try and get back to you as quickly as possible. So it's great talking to you. I appreciate your interest in Light the World, and just have a great day. So thank you very much.